Hi friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Tanner and this is my Esoterica. Today we have another reading for the Divine Feminine Collective, my beautiful Divine Feminines. I hope you all are doing well. So today's reading, we are starting with Oracle cards from the Archetypes deck by Kim Krans. Y'all know I love her. If you've watched any of my other videos, I have all of her decks. But anyway, as I was shuffling before starting to record, I saw the heart come out in reverse. And, the heart is, your heart space. Here in the book, it says, it came up in reverse. I don't know if I mentioned that, but if I didn't, when I was shuffling, the heart was in reverse. Here it says, when dark, that the heart means fraught, tangled, and betrayal. So I feel like, as is typical for us divine feminines, a lot of us are going through it. Please remember this is a collective reading too, so if not everything I say resonates with you, it's not all for just you, it's for a lot of people. But but I get the sense with that energy popping up in the shuffle, that you are dealing with a sense of betrayal. You're kind of been tangled up in your emotions lately. And after I shuffled out the cards that are for this message, on the bottom of the deck was the Judge. And what's interesting about the Judge is the energy here. It says, when this archetype remains unconscious or is captivated by fear, wise, excuse me, block throat chakra, wise discernment turns into painful judgment of self and other. This is the Judge out of balance, building walls, separating from other. So I feel like, this emotional pain that you've been going through has caused you to kind of get your walls, throw up your walls, and not in a way that is necessarily conducive to your healing, if that makes any sense at all. It's like you're kind of pulled back into your ego mind and triggered, like your wounds are triggered, and by whoever betrayed you, likely whatever soul counterpart you have been entangled with. It happens to the best of us, so don't feel bad. But I feel like it's pulled you back into, again, your ego mind and triggered your wounding, and that's caused you to put your walls kind of up instead of learning to, or releasing back into trust and surrender, which as divine feminines is what brings us, abundance and success and alignment. Underneath the Judge, we had the Bardo. And that's interesting because you'll see in a few minutes, but you got another card that came out that kind of echoes what the Bardo is about. But the Bardo is about being in a liminal space, like one foot in one world and one foot in the other, and kind of navigating both worlds, or still trying to navigate both worlds. But I feel like, you are ascending, and the transitional period is probably tough. You can see, in a way, it kind of maybe feels like a death in a way, with all of these skulls and stuff around this portal. But I feel like it's the portal to your highest timeline from here, and then underneath the Bardo, we had the prayer. And I'm not going to read up from every card from the bottom, but I feel like the prayer was poignant to this reading as well. The river is underneath that, which just talks about healing, which is, what we're all doing. Well, actually, no, that's not true. If you're here and watching this reading, you're doing more work than most other people are. Most people don't want to look at their shadows. They don't want to heal. Here, I'd like to give you guys advice and guidance about healing, because I've had a tough life. I've been through a lot, and when it comes to soul contracts and karmic twin flame relationships, being triggered and learning to release and trust and let go, I have learned those lessons, or I am learning those lessons, and I'm at a place in my journey where I can come back with foresight, or not foresight, but wisdom gained from my experiences to try to, couple what I've gone through with what spirit is telling me. So, with the prayer, I feel like, that is a sign for you to reach out to spirit, literally. Like, we are all conscious, like, constantly, not consciously, mostly unconsciously, but we are constantly, surrounded by our guides, our past loved ones, our ancestors, our angels, whatever you subscribe to, whatever you believe in, like, we're not alone. Spirit, in whatever form you connect with it, is all around us and is there to offer help and guidance and support if and when you need it. You simply just have to ask and trust that you'll receive that guidance. Don't worry about the how. Don't think about the ifs, ands, and buts. That's not your job. Your job is to be like, hey, this is where I want to go. And then let spirit lead the way. Trust your intuition and take one step at a time. Put one foot in front of the other until you find that you are established in your new timeline, in your new life. Which leads me in perfectly into the cards that actually came out when I shuffled. So the first card that came out was the Empty Room. And this is the card that I was talking about that relates a lot to that Bardo energy, being in this liminal space, because the Empty Room is all about potential. Like, you can fill this room with whatever it is you want. And of course, right now it feels a little daunting. It feels scary to step into this big blank dark room, like this void, this like, infinite void of this empty room. But you have the power and the capacity to build whatever it is that you want for yourself. The Pilgrim is clarifying this energy. The Pilgrim gives me Fool energy, or like Fool and Page energy. It's about taking a leap of faith. It's about leaving behind what's comfortable. For the Pilgrim, it's the village. For you, it could be, your childhood traumas that you feel comfortable existing in. Just as an example. Like, it's not always a conscious decision to stay in wounding. It takes becoming aware, which is harder than you think. I mean, a lot of people, I did too. I walked around for a really long time thinking that I had healed from a lot of my childhood traumas, but it took meeting and being triggered by who I consider to be my twin flame, my like big karmic soul contract in this life, to trigger all of those wounds that I thought I had healed, but I really didn't. Really healing and really purging is going to involve like a lot of crying, a lot of ego death, a lot of like asking why, a lot of like reaching out to spirit and asking why. Like, it's tough, but I feel like you have this journey with this pilgrim energy, this like youthful, joyful, like I can take on the world kind of energy. Like, you have the potential to, again, make this room, your life, this empty room, sorry, aka your life, into anything that you desire. The pilgrim energy in this deck is 20, which is judgment energy in the tarot. So I feel like filling up this empty room is going to require you answering to your higher calling, which is what judgment energy is all about. But, taking that, not being afraid to take that leap of faith, because, the universe will catch you. The universe will catch you. Because, moving on to the next oracle card, you are starborn, baby. Like, this is 3. This is Empress energy. 3 is, so you could be a divine feminine, which hopefully you are. I mean, this is a divine feminine reading, so, I mean, no shade to anyone else who wants to watch this. If you're a divine masculine watching this, kudos to you, because you're doing more healing work than most other masculines. But anyway, you, the viewer, the divine feminine, you are the starborn, which is like the destined child. Like, you have a purpose in this life, and like you were sent here to see it become fulfilled. I think a lot of what your mission involves is overcoming adversity, overcoming struggle. That's what the warrior is all about as well. I see Aries energy here. I don't think this is exactly a ram. It might be, I don't know. But the horns like that make me think of a bull, which makes me think, well, that would be Taurus energy actually, wouldn't it? So you may be a Taurus watching this. Maybe you were dealing with an Aries, or maybe you're dealing with a Taurus, I don't know. But anyway, the warrior is somebody who puts up a fight, who doesn't, who like, I don't know, it's like you're the power, how you choose to use your sword is in your hands, right? Like you have the power as the starborn, like you are here, like you are spiritually guided, you're protected. Like spirit wants to see you succeed at whatever it is you're meant to be here doing. But sometimes whatever that is in, the big picture, like it involves like standing on business. It involves fighting for the things that you want, not letting other people put you down. Um, Overcoming obstacles. This card is 10, which is the end of cycles in the tarot deck, which is overcoming obstacles, learning and integrating lessons. I feel like your like joy, your harmony in life comes from like, so it comes from your never-ending like capacity to overcome is what I'm getting. Because with the snake here, it makes me think of the Ouroboros, which is the symbol of the snake eating its own tail. And that's like the symbol of the cycle of sort of like death and rebirth a little bit. And it's something that's never ending, because as soon as the snake gets to his tail, it's back around again. So I feel like your ability to constantly overcome is what leads to like enlightenment in a way with this rainbow here, like harmony and joy in overcoming. So yeah, very interesting. And then the last card that came out was the Mentor. So I feel like this is kind of what your mission is in this life, is to be a mentor to others. Like again, like the wisdom that you accumulate, like I was just talking about, like me having gone through these intense kind of soul connections that maybe you guys are kind of just in the opening stages of, or even the middling stages. Like everything you learn through this experience is going to help you be a better version of yourself, which is going to help you succeed more in every kind of version of your life, no matter what it is that you are pursuing. Because you've grown and, have integrated the lessons that you need to learn. And now, through doing so, through constantly overcoming, you gain the wisdom to help and guide others. Yeah, I feel like this is also speaking to the lessons, plural, that you have learned so far. I just saw 1333 on my timer when I said that. So like, I want to say give yourself credit for the lessons that this connection or whatever else that's difficult right now that's going on in your life has taught you about yourself, and how it's taught you how much you have the capacity to overcome. Because that kind of is your lesson in all of this. You have, like, the power is in your hands, literally. The power is in your hands. But yeah, I do feel like you're meant to be like a teacher and a guide for others. But I have like a couple of messages coming in, because the cards that came out clarifying this mentor, which was the last oracle that I pulled, like just for this message, I got four of them. To clarify the mentor. So I had the King was the first one that came out. The Castle. So we got the King and the Castle, which I think is pretty cool. Pretty synchronistic. Not synchronistic exactly, but I think there's a reason I said that, because this card talks about synchronicity and divine timing. No accidents in a tarot reading. And then we had the offering. So there's a lot of stuff that came through, or a couple things, maybe not a lot, but a couple things that came through for me when all those cards came out at once. So with the king, first things first, the first thing I thought of was divine masculine energy. I thought of ego. Um, I thought of divine masculine, like a partner, somebody that you were connected to or are connected to. Red string theory, soul connection. So this was the first card that I saw in this little stack. So clarifying the mentor card, right? I feel like this person was your lesson in one aspect, right? I just saw 1555. And then also, like, your lesson also was embodying your own sort of divine masculine energy, like building your own boundaries and stuff for yourself. The castle was the next card that came out here. And let me see. What number is it? XL. Here it is. So it says here, the castle is loaded with duality. It represents abundant riches, seductive fantasy, ornate wonders, and lavish adornments. Yet the walls are thick, cold, and shadowy. This card points to a tendency to hold on to possessions, or position, I'm not going to read everything, that projects the image of achievement, while the soul longs to run barefoot in the forest, leaving it all behind. The castle can be emoting. Hold on. So at times we must settle down, yet the castle lulls us with its spell of materialism, and we fall asleep to our deepest dreams. The castle can be a motivating force, like if you have dreams to like have your own metaphorical castle, or like your own place, a place to call your own, whatever. We fall asleep to our deep. Oh, sorry, hold on. But it is not best to linger within its walls of decadent deception for too long. So when this card came out, ooh, here it is. If this card appears with the king, the queen, or the maiden, know that you've entered into long-standing family dynamics that include, I don't think property in this case, but include power. So maybe you are dealing with like inheritance stuff right now. I don't know. That's going to be very specific for just a couple people. But the king lives in the castle. The castle represents like fulfilling all of your own desires, right? So I feel like spirit is saying, like, by embracing this mentor energy, like stepping into your role as a guide for others, embracing your own power, right? I think building up your own, continuing to build up your own foundations. Like, I feel like this is saying, like, with divine timing here as well and the offering, I feel like this is saying, like, as soon as you, like, step onto this path, for sure, step into your own power, the universe is going to be offering you rewards in divine timing. What I also got from this, and if you never want to speak to the person you're connected to again, that is totally fine and like your prerogative. But what I'm seeing here too with these cards, clarifying the mentor card, is that when you do step into this role for yourself, you will be rewarded with like a reunion with this person. Like, you will have like your masculine and like all of the things, like a beautiful union is what I'm saying. Like, you'll have the king and the castle in divine timing. Like, the universe will offer this to you when you fully embrace your path and can release, the resentment and the emotional pain by going within and dealing with your traumas and like really sitting with them and dissecting them and getting to the root of them and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, step into your role and the universe will provide. Like, step into your power. I said it all. I'm not going to say it again. But yeah, so powerful energy. All right, so now we're going to move to tarot. We're going to look at the bottom. We have the Ten of Wands. I shuffled this deck a million billion times until Spirit tells me to stop. So we are dealing with a sense of feeling kind of overwhelmed by the situation at hand right now. Could be just like the person you're dealing with, or let's look underneath and find out. The King of Wands. And we had the King here as well. So you could have been dealing, like you could have felt really burdened by, oh my God, and the Page of Wands too. Oh my goodness. So I do see like there's this sort of like immature, hold on, so you guys can see it. Like the sort of immature with the Page, King energy, like could have been a fire sign, but somebody who was kind of maybe on the surface seemed very charismatic and like outgoing and fun to be around and passionate, but like on the low, they were maybe a little egocentric and like controlling and maybe had some anger issues. But like, I felt like in the past, recently, like you were overburdened by this sort of immature person who was presenting as a King of Wands, but was really like a Page of Wands. But I feel like you felt a pretty strong connection with them with Strength on the bottom. We have Leo energy here too, which is a fire sign again. But let's look at the heart of the situation that Spirit is sort of telling us about here. Excuse me, confirmation verbs. So we have the Elder of Pentacles here, which is the King of Pentacles. So I feel like, actually, I want to go back a little bit because the messages that I'm getting now about that Page of Wands, the King of Wands, and shoot, what was the last card? Dang. Well, I was getting, the Ten of Wands. I feel like you are feeling burdened with how to move your own creative visions forward, right? That's the other message that I'm getting. So I do still think that you were probably dealing with an immature kind of King of Wands person. But I do think also, just based on everything else that we're seeing, that like those burdens that you're carrying could be, how can you continue to follow your own passions and drive and like stay in control of yourself? Because with the King of Pentacles here too, I do see, and the King that came out in the oracles that we just talked about, like I do see that you are kind of embodying your own divine masculine energy. And again, for anyone that's new, when I mention these divine masculine, divine feminine energies, I'm talking about energy dynamics. I'm not talking about sex or gender. I love everybody who identifies any kind of way. But I feel like you really are entering an era of building stability for yourself because like I said, right now the universe is saying the world is literally your oyster, but you are going to have to like embody your own drive, like and do the work to make things happen when it comes to your own mission. Not when it comes to whatever situation dynamic you may have been caught up in. Like surrender to that. But Spirit is saying like you are entering a state of making things happen for yourself and you want to build lasting stability for yourself. Okay, let's see. What else do we have, Spirit? This is the Spacious Tarot, by the way. This is a little mini, I fear like a little knockoff version. I got like 2 decks from China and they both came slightly smaller than I thought they would. Lesson learned. I know, don't yell at me. But anyway, I feel like Spirit is calling for you to embody your inner strength and not to be like, yes, embody your masculine energy, but don't try. It's like there's a fine balance between force and active co-creation, like, and being led and acting on inspired action versus trying to force yourself to make something happen. Does that make sense? So with Strength here and showing up a couple times, I think Spirit is saying you do need to like, yes, embody your inner strength, but don't be mean to yourself about it. Like show yourself some compassion during this sort of transition era where you are stepping into your own power. Yeah, and the Eight of Swords here, like you are kind of mentally stuck in place. But only you have the power to free yourself, because the message of the Eight of Swords realistically is that you're not, the person on the card isn't actually stuck. They just feel like they are. Like they're blindfolded, they're surrounded by swords, they're tied up. On the surface, it seems like they are trapped, but there's like an opening that's just big enough right behind them in the traditional artwork, where the person could just squeeze, shimmy on out, and and get out and cut their ropes, on one of the swords, if they really wanted to, and free themselves. But they're paralyzed by the fear of what if. So that's the only thing that's holding you back right now, is the fear of what if. Don't worry about that. Just act. Just act, and the universe will respond in kind. All right, Spirit. That seems like a good time to start pulling cards. So, Spirit, what else do you have for us? What is the situation right now for our divine feminines, for the people watching this video? Like, what do you want to tell them, Spirit? What is the situation? Woo. Okay, first cup was 9 of Cups crossing. It flipped around in a fun way, too. What else do you have, Spirit, for the situation here? Very specific card wants to come out here, so we'll try to do it. We'll try to go through again. For the situation, Spirit, what else do we have? We have the 9 of Cups crossing. Queen of Wands in reverse. Okay. One more, Spirit. Okay. I feel like that is pretty clear. Okay, well, first things first on the bottom. So on the bottom of the deck, we have the Guardian of Cups, which in this deck is the Queen of Cups. So I feel like you really have been focusing a lot on on self-healing, on focusing on your own cup here, and, nourishing and loving and blossoming for yourself. Like you've really been tending to your own inner garden, and, probably you have been addressing a lot of these wounds that have come up. I just want to say that it is a process of actually purging these wounds. Just like realizing is like just mentally realizing is one step, but you have to really like understand it with your heart to fully integrate it. And sometimes there's a delay. So is what I'll say with that. But you have been focusing on healing, which is beautiful. So the first card that came out was the 9 of Cups, but it came out crossing. So the 9 of Cups is all about wish fulfillment, right? So with this card coming out crossing, what I'm getting for me, crossing cards are energy that you're consciously grappling with, like trying to figure out, like mulling over. You get it. So when it comes out crossing, it's like you're trying to figure out what is your wish fulfillment. Like what would bring you satisfaction and like a feeling of a job well done, like that you've overcome and that you've achieved. Like I feel like, yeah, you're trying to figure out what that path looks like for you. Maybe you're a little bit lost right now and you just don't know which path to really take. I am seeing with this is the Guardian of Wands, which is the Queen of Wands in this deck, and it came out in reverse. So this kind of speaks to feeling like a lack of confidence, or maybe feeling like you don't have the necessary skills or the knowledge or the experience or whatever to like really embark on this journey. Like you could be too afraid to really take that leap of faith. Could be just too worried about other people's opinions. But what the message of the Queen of Wands upright is that, like, I think inherently you are a very magnetic person. Like people are just naturally drawn to you. I feel like you do have this, like you are courageous, you are passionate, you are charismatic, and like people are drawn to your energy. So I feel like you feeling this way is completely and totally like self self-inflicted, because I think you are a really powerful feminine. You are a really powerful feminine, and I think the only thing, like, you've overcome so much with this warrior card here. Like, the only thing that's really kind of stopping you right now is you. No shade, speaking from experience. But the last card that came out for this situation was the Eight of Wands. So this is all about fast growth, like swift forward momentum and movement. So I feel like you are about to really experience like an acceleration of growth for yourself. And we'll check and see in the cards. I'll see what's like coming towards you next. But I feel like you really are, like, I feel like you're kind of just in this stage right now of feeling a little bit insecure as you're still sort of, kind of healing from the situation that you've been dealing with. Like, I think, the situation has triggered you a lot and kind of, again, caused you to build walls up around yourself as you're doing the work to heal, which is totally fine. Like, take all the time you need to really address all those inner kind of wounds. But don't stay there. Don't stay stuck in the castle. Don't stay stuck in the castle. You're gonna have to come out eventually and actually experience life, and yeah, let it affect you and let yourself learn from it. So, like, don't be afraid. Like, spirit's got you, is what I want to say to you. I think you're kind of underselling yourself and underselling your abilities, because again, like, you are the Queen of Wands. It's just this energy is sort of blocked right now, but this card wouldn't come out if the energy wasn't here at all. So just keep that in mind, like, as you're going through this healing, like, you are that bitch. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Like, you are meant to help others. You are meant to guide others and be a source of wisdom for others in whatever way that, whatever form that takes. Like a teacher, a therapist, a tarot reader. I don't know. Hey, do your thing. An artist, or anything. Whatever sets your soul on fire is what you're meant to do. But yeah, you're going to be experiencing rapid change and rapid growth here very soon. As soon as you can, like, I'm hearing, get out of your own way is what I'm hearing with spirit. Yeah, underneath going back to the bottom of the deck, underneath the Queen of Cups was the Tower. So you definitely have been recovering from some sort of tower moment, some sort of like kind of foundation shaking sort of experience. If you're trying to find stability, I see with the Four of Wands here, you're trying to find stability again after dealing with a toxic situation. And yeah, now you're just doing what you can to work on yourself. And again, with the Eight of Pentacles, this B here, you're building something. You are building something for yourself. And I do see that you are, again, going to experience fast movement and change. So I mean, that is your energy. I feel I don't need to ask like what your energy is right now, but I do want to ask, like, what should you focus on right now? So spirit, what should our viewer focus on right now? How can they continue to grow during this phase of their journey? Let's judge them around after that, and then we'll see what comes out. So yeah, how can our viewer, like, what energy can they embody to move forward in this, to the next phase in their journey, spirit? What energy can our viewer embody to get to the next phase of their journey? Ace of Wands, and it came out in reverse, which is very interesting. So I feel like this is saying, like, don't stand in your own way. Like, when inspiration strikes, you should like act on it. Don't let, I'm seeing the Firefly card from the Animal Spirit Oracle. Like, inspiration, when it hits, those high vibes hit, they're very fleeting. Like, you can't hold on to them for very long. So when inspiration strikes, you need to act on it. Don't let the drive disappear, is what I'm getting. I'm gonna look at my notes too and see what else the Ace of Wands in reverse talks about. Creative blocks, delays, lack of motivation, missed opportunities, burnout, fear of taking action, and doubt. So I think that's what the energy you are embodying right now. So, okay. Okay. So if that's the energy you are in, if you are feeling creatively blocked, can I get a clarification card for this, Spirit? What do you mean by this Ace of Wands in reverse? Exactly. What do you mean by this Ace of Wands in reverse exactly? Please clarify this Ace of Wands in reverse for our collective. Woo. Sounded like an owl, huh? The Hermit. So I think Spirit is saying the energy you need to embody right now is going within and doing some reflection about what is blocking you from taking action, from moving into the next phase of your life, from moving forward. Yeah, I think Spirit is asking, like, what energy do you need to embody? You need to embody this Hermit and go inside and ask, you know, what is causing these creative blocks? Is it like fear? Is it fear? Is it perfectionism? Is it like um, thinking that, like, is it comparing yourself to others and feeling like you'll never get to where this person or that person is? Don't let that stuff stand in your way. Don't let fear of change stop you from taking action to change your circumstances, to step into the life and the role that you want in the world. The world is your oyster. Manifestation is real. Like, the universe, God, spirit, however you identify with it, like, it wants to work with you. It wants to give you the life that you want, but you have to be at a place where you can open yourself up to it, trust it, and also work with it. So if you are having, like, look, as I'm saying that, the Magician, which is all about having all the tools that you need at your disposal, like, this is manifestation energy. This is stepping into your power and making something for yourself. So that's what Spirit's telling you. Like, you have everything that you need to succeed at whatever this next phase in your journey is for you. If it's finally leaving this person behind, great, more power to you. If it's starting some sort of creative project or passion project or going after your dream job, like, whatever it is, like, you have the power and the capabilities and the capacity to succeed at it. That's what Spirit's telling you. So you need to go inside and ask yourself, what is standing, like, why are you standing in your own way? What are you really afraid of? What are you really afraid of? All right. So that's the energy you need to embody. Spirit, do you have any advice for our divine feminine for this next phase of their journey? What is your advice for our divine feminine, Spirit? What is your advice, Spirit, for our divine feminine? Very specific card wants to come out. Let's try again. All right, Spirit, what is your advice for our divine feminines? Advice for our divine feminines, please, Spirit. I was like, another card didn't want to come out. All right, this card came out crossing. The Tower, crossing. For your advice, you gotta let it go. I think you're still trying to hold on to the situation. I think you're still really affected by whatever shook you up, whatever tower moment happened. I think you are still kind of heavily affected by it. I think spirit is saying that you need to come to terms with it, with whatever it is that happened. Look at it with like Queen of Swords energy. Look at it with a logical mind. Take your rose-colored glasses off. What was the truth of this situation that has gotten you to this point? I guarantee you it wasn't what you were thinking it was. It was something completely, totally different, but you just had rose-colored glasses on, and so you couldn't see it for what it was. I think spirit is saying for your advice that you need to let the tower fall. You need to let yourself fall apart completely and fully. Like embrace the pain of this. Cry, journal, beat up a pillow, go back to therapy. Like do these things so you can rebuild yourself from the ashes, so you can phoenix and rise from the ashes. I'm gonna look and see what the tower is in reverse on here, or in my notes rather. Yeah, fear of change, rebuilding after destruction, among other things. But yeah, that's the energy I was getting. So that's your advice. Fall apart fully, completely. Don't hold on to resentments and build walls up. Crumble, collapse, release, rebuild. That's your advice. Because again, you have the power to achieve and accomplish and do anything. That bitch. All right. That's your advice. I feel like, I want to give you something else to leave off of here. Oh yeah, I wanted to see what's coming towards you. All right, thank you, Spirit, for all of this wonderful, this powerful but strong message. So what is coming towards our divine feminines as they are doing this work and ascending and growing? Like, what is coming towards them? What is coming towards them for doing this work, for stepping into their power? Four of Wands, stability. It's also the marriage card. Let's see what else comes out. What else is coming towards our divine feminine spirit if they step into this energy? Ten of Cups. Ooh, harmonious relationship. Happily ever after. Goodness. You have the Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups. Those are two very strong indicators of like reunion energy, like powerful relationship energy. I did say in the beginning when we were first talking about the king and the castle and all that I thought like the universe, again, in divine timing, a divine masculine will come in to meet you once you've embraced all of this energy and stepped into your power. Remember? Sorry. Anyway, all right, one more card for what is coming towards our divine feminines as after they step into this energy. It almost came out, but it didn't. What is coming towards our divine feminines? What is that? Five of Swords in reverse, overcoming conflict, overcoming self-sabotage as well. Somebody coming in and smoothing things over, making things right. Like the Five of Swords in reverse and the Ten of Cups, that is making amends and living in happily ever after harmony. Elder of Wands, King of Wands. So a King of Wands could be coming in, whoever that King of Wands that we saw in the beginning, that immature energy that I saw 4411, that we were talking about. This person, once you've embodied all this junk that we've been talking about, let that tower fall. This King of Wands is going to come in trying to take control of the situation and wanting to offer you stability and marriage. Yeah, that's very beautiful. Look. We have the King of Wands, the Queen of Cups, which came up before 4444. And then the Eight of Pentacles. So I feel like this is like what's coming towards you once you step into all of this. and let it go and rebuild yourself, and, learn to embrace the next version, the next chapter of whatever this is, whatever you will be, whatever you are working towards. Um, you guys working on it. King of Cups, King of Wands, Queen of Cups, working on it, working it out. If that's what you want. If you don't want that, then you ain't got to take it when it comes in. Yeah, so that is more or less your reading. I'm inspired to get some channel messages from this The Universe Has Your Back deck, this one. So I'll get some channel messages from the universe for you, and we'll end the reading there. All right, let's see what we've got. On the bottom here, we have attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form. Oh, okay, hold on. It says attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. Inner child calling out for help. So, what do you need to go in yourself and address? Your inner child wounding. What we were talking about. All right, Spirit. I'm just gonna go through the deck one time. Whatever messages you have, excuse me, for our divine feminines, please. Some parting messages from you, Spirit. Got two. Got a couple there. Got one here. All right, cool. On the bottom, it says, I let go of the past, of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. So that judge card, your inner critic, are you looking at them with harsh eyes and judging them and, casting judgment on them? Or are you looking at them with love and with compassion, with understanding that they could only meet you where they were at the time, and just unfortunately, it's not where you were at the time. It's no one's fault. Not saying that, anything that they did to you was okay as a result of their own traumas. But you always have to keep in mind that people are always reacting from their traumas. Most of the time, no one is acting in a malicious way. So, beautiful way to lead into this next card. I choose love no matter what. Remember that. This next one is my outer experiences are a reflection of my internal condition. That's very important. In any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness, meditation, connecting with your guides, things of that nature. Hope is the conduit for miracles. So you have to have, if you're trying to enter this next phase of your life in this, if you have no faith that things will work out, if you feel this Queen of Wands in reverse, you don't feel confident, the universe is only going to be able to match your vibe. So hope is a conduit for miracles. Joy is the ultimate creator. Embrace what brings you joy. Again, what sets your soul on fire. Then whatever you start to create, it won't feel like work. It'll just feel like what you were meant to do. The moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. Realign with love. Don't be that harsh critic. Don't be that harsh judge. Come back to your heart. Come back to your inner child. Okay. This is the last card for you, and then we're going to end it. So I think this is cute too. So thank you, universe, for helping me see beyond the limits of fear. Thank you for expanding my perceptions so that I can see what is of the highest good. All right, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I'm pretty sure that's all the cards that came out. thank you guys so much for being here, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I'm sending you lots of love and light, and we will see you in the next one, okay? All right. Take care. Bye.